Hi, this is Jeff with CloudNC, and today I'm going to walk you through three parts in Cam Assist for MasterCAM. This is a brand new feature for MasterCAM. So I've got the first part on screen here, and all that I've got ready in the file is that I've got the stock set up. So Cam Assist requires a master model. So that's shown here, the master model and the stock, and then I've also got my fixturing defined. So once that's all ready to go, I'm going to come up to Cam Assist, and I'm going to click Cam Assist. It's just going to launch, and I've got to pick my library here. So I'm going to pick this tool database file that is my hinge tools. I'm going to run this in aluminum. I'll do this a 3+2 part, and I'm going to use the align to XYZ method, which will be a great quick way to run this part. And I'm just going to check my selected plane is in reference to my top. That matches up. My tool use tab here shows my tools. I can just run with what I have. And under the advanced tab, I'm going to have them all turned on, all the toolpath types. And let's hit run. At this point, we are checking the part, or Cam Assist actually is checking the part on the cloud, and it's examining the part in relation to how it's in the machine group and what tools are available in the tool library. So in MasterCAM, typically you would manually go through and pick the tools. With Cam Assist, you don't have to do that. It's going to pick from the tools in the selected library and do that for you. So this calculation just takes a few moments here. And now you can see that it's checking the tool set against that geometry in the model. And then what's going to happen is Cam Assist is going to create strategies to machine that part. And then those strategies will be mapped back into MasterCAM toolpaths. So we should see those toolpaths come in a few moments here after this calculation is done. It kind of works backwards from the finished output to a roughing. And so the roughing calculation here is just under being completed. And once we see that hit 100%, we should see some toolpaths come into MasterCAM. Here they come. So the first thing that you might see there is the stock model. So for generating the roughing operations, we are also applying some stock models. And these come in to us from the cloud. So we've got 36 operations altogether. This will represent 36 manual operations that you would have to click on MasterCAM and go in and set all those parameters. A lot of clicking, a lot of thinking, a lot of processing you have to do to get to that point. So in your day-to-day CAM operations, you also have to contend with things like distractions, the phone's ringing, people are asking you questions as you're doing your programming. So with Cam Assist, those kind of factors aren't so prevalent because it's going to be doing the thinking for you. So the AI that we use to generate these toolpaths doesn't do any machine learning at this point. So we're not learning off of your parts or your toolpaths that are created. It's all a rules-based AI, what we call an opinionated AI, because it has an opinion on how it's going to approach the CAM output for this particular file and all files that it runs. You can see as well in MasterCAM that as the toolpaths are coming in, they are going to be shown as dirty with the red X's, and after they're calculated through, they'll be processed via MasterCAM's processing, and those toolpaths will be resolved. In some cases, they might not all be resolved. Cam Assist is a system that doesn't guarantee 100% output. It's an assistant. We named it deliberately because there are going to be potential times when you're running a file that you have to go through and double check the output, maybe make some slight adjustments. And as we progress with our algorithms and technology over time, the need for those corrections will become less and less. And we've already seen that quite dramatically in the year that we've had Cam Assist on the market in other systems. So now that we've got almost all those toolpaths generated, we can start to look at them, and we'll be doing that shortly. All right, so we've got 36 of 36 operations showing now. We skipped ahead a little bit in the video, And what's going to happen very soon, we'll get a message from CAM Assist showing how many of our surfaces have been generated and how many total operations we've generated. There we go. So we've got 36 operations, machining 43 of 49 surfaces. We can also see that our 36 operations don't add up to what we show down here under the deburring with 43. That's because in our roughing operations, we actually add in some stock models. So the stock models plus our calculated operations will give us the total. So now I've got that selected, and now MasterCAM locally on my machine is going to continue to process those 36 operations plus the operations for the stock models. So we'll just skip ahead a little bit and come back when they're all calculated. Just as a note, if you want to see what's going on at this stage, it's handy to turn on the multi-threading, so I can turn that on and see the processing happening on my machine. Okay, so the toolpaths are all calculated, and I'm just going to quickly go through them here in my toolpath menu. You can see that I got the toolpath group CAM Assist, and under that I have the roughing. So I've got the first stock model there showing the initial stock, and then my first OptiRest operation, followed by the stock models. And if I just go through them one by one, you can see the model begin to take shape as we machine material away. Jump down into the next one. And then for the other operations, we've got the flat finishing. So it goes all the way around the part there. And the wall finishing. And then hole making. So we've got a number of holes in this part. So just a note on these toolpaths too, they are native MasterCAM toolpaths. So if I need to go in and make corrections, I could open the parameters, make any adjustments I want to in terms of the feeds and speeds or the geometry that's selected. Or in some cases, I might find extraneous toolpaths. Sometimes that happens in 3+2. It's easy to go in there and delete them. For the free form, we've got some kind of extraneous toolpath happening down here, just where the geometry lines up between those two bores. So I could probably delete that, for instance. So I'll take that whole group off. And then chamfering. So this is for the model chamfer on that top feature. What CAM Assist does, and you'll see that the toolpath is below the base of the geometry. So we're not putting the tip of the tool right on the edge of the corner there. We're putting it past. So the tool, the length of the cutter is going to be engaged, not the tip. It's going to be more efficient and better finish. And then for deburring, we do the general deburring on the part. So what I tend to do too is also go in and check through verify. If you have other third-party add-in applications for verification, you can run that through there too. Okay, we've got our second part loaded up now. We're going to also do a 3+2 operation. You can see the part here. It's in a similar work holding situation as the first part, kind of three sides, and we expect some toolpaths to come down from the top. So again, I'm going to use the CAM Assist add-in for MasterCAM here. I've got my stock setup already defined in my machine group. So I'll open up CloudNC here, come to CAM Assist, and while that loads up, I'm going to use the same tool library as before, my inch library. Also run this part in aluminum, switch this to 3+2. And for this one, I'm going to do my machining directions a little bit differently. The first one we did the align to XYZ. This three-sided part doesn't really correspond to those directions, so I will use user-defined. So down in my machine group here, I can see that I want to confirm my plane, so I'm top, that looks good. Avoidance geometry I'm not going to use. If I had some potential toolpath operations going into this area or this area, I might introduce a body to block that from happening and use the avoidance geometry for that. think we'll be okay without it in the meantime. Let's try it out. And then we can either choose to use the same direction for roughing and finishing or not. Actually, in this case, I think if I rough from the top on my stock and then just finish from those three directions for these holes, I should be fine. So I'm going to uncheck that, pick my roughing direction, and I'm going to pick on the model. I can pick any of these top surfaces really. I want to go right in the middle, and then I just hit escape on the keyboard to get out of that. And then for my finishing directions, I will also pick that same direction, and then I want to pick my three outer directions here. If I had any other like angled planes or features on this part where I thought that having a defined cutting direction would be suitable, I would select them. I've got them all picked. I will hit escape on the keyboard. And then what I want to do is just quickly double check my tools. They look fine. And I'm going to run all of these operations. So that's all picked off. So I will hit OK and run. So we already watched the progress bar on the first run of Cam Assist. We'll speed up the video a little bit here and check in on the results. Cam Assist has completed. So we've got 34 operations, machining 78 of 82 surfaces. So we'll hit OK here. MasterCAM still has to go in and do a little bit of work to complete those toolpath calculations. Again, if we turn on the view multi-thread manager, it helps to see what's going on a little bit. Alt-M on the keyboard usually brings that up. There it is. So we can see those calculations happening here. And then if I come up to my roughing, you can see I only have a few roughing operations. Remember, again, that we only did one roughing direction from the top. So once this toolpath number 2 finishes calculating, we'll be able to see the rest of the toolpaths as well. We can actually skip ahead and take a look at the flat. So I've got those operations there. Maybe I'll move the multi-threader out of the way. And our wall finishing. So I used a rectangular stock for this model, this job. It's a bit of a limitation of Cam Assist that we can't use round stock at this time, but it still works okay for this application. And then for my hole making, I've got a helix bore in there. So the helix bore is showing up because I don't have a corresponding drill in my selected library that was a perfect fit for that. And then my drilling is happening on the other side here. Another helix bore operation. And another helix bore, and then my drilling and counter boring for these outer holes. So I should have 3 sets of those. And while that's done, we can go up and check our first roughing stock model. Okay. Then we have some chamfering happening on the outer edges. Sometimes MasterCAM doesn't want to hide all the toolpaths, so I'll try to get that to show up on its own. So if we turn off, there we go. Now we're only seeing the selected ones. And now we can see the selected chamfering operations and deburring. Why don't we check what that looks like in Verify. So we'll pick the Cam Assist folder and Verify. So again, it's my rectangular stock to start. Get that lined up and hit play. All right, so the simulation is showing us the view of the completed stock there, the completed part. And if we were to go ahead and machine off that bottom face there, that would be a very simple operation for Op2. Might be a good opportunity to use the soft jaw tools that's coming out in CloudNC's Cam Assist. So stay tuned for an update on this part using soft jaws. Let's have a look at our third part. Okay, for part number 3, we've got this little enclosure and it's pretty boxy. So it's pretty obvious what strategy I'm going to pick for 3+2. So again, I've got the toolpath group and the machine group and the stock all ready to go. And I've got this in the same orientation as the other parts, and we can open Cam Assist. So again, I'll open Cam Assist, pick my same tool library. Just a word on that, if we had our tool database file in a different location, we have the provision to go and run that from either your local network or your local machine, so you can pick that folder and then browse to your appropriate tool library. I'm just going to stick with the default here. And again, 3+2, and this is a really ideal case for aligned to XYZ because it's such a boxy part. So we'll keep that one. And again, I don't have to use the tool use and advanced tabs unless I have to. So in this case, I'm not going to. I'm not even going to look at them. I'm just going to run Cam Assist. So as quick and easy as it gets. Again, won't make you watch the scroll bar. This one shouldn't take too long, but we'll speed up the video just a little bit. All right, we've got our toolpath complete, or our toolpath generation complete through CloudNC's Cam Assist with 31 operations, machining 86 of 107 surfaces. So not quite everything, but we'll see what's going on there. And you can see that the 31 operations doesn't quite line up to our 42 that we have down here. And that's because, again, we've got stock models being created in our roughing operations. So again, we will let this calculate in MasterCAM a little bit more before we talk through the toolpaths. It's a little hard to explain what's going on as MasterCAM's interrupting us. So we'll be right back. MasterCAM has finished its calculations and closed down the multi-thread manager. So let's review what we've got. We've got our roughing operations from the initial stock model down through to the operations beneath that. There's a few roughing passes happening in there. And we end up with this one here, where we've got a good proportion of the model in a good state. Then we do our flat finishing operations. So that's a 2D high-speed area mill operation. And then our wall finishing operations, we can look at them all together. And then our hole making, so a number of holes in this part. And chamfering and deburring. So let's see how this looks in Verify. So I've got the top level folder in the toolpath group here for Cam Assist selected, and I'm going to run Verify. Let that calculate, and I'll hit play. So while that runs, I want to thank you for joining me here today to look at these 3 quick parts, 3+2 parts in Cam Assist for MasterCAM. I know they're quite simple parts, but hopefully they give you a good view of how Cam Assist works and how simple and easy it can be to generate a 3+2 operation. And stay tuned for more videos from us at CloudNC on using Cam Assist for MasterCAM. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.